Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So I'm super excited for this one. In recent days there has been a lot of fan drama, but I've been very much anticipating releasing this video. We have an exclusive scoop for the 2026 Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Credit goes to my good friend Luke Winchester for this information, and this is the first place you're going to hear it, so let's get into it. Off the back of the news that Ahsoka Season 2 is filming in summer of 2025, that was something revealed by Natasha Liu Bordisso. A friend and source for this leak got the opportunity to speak to Eman Esfandi, Ezra Bridger himself, at Star Fury in Birmingham a few months ago. And in their conversation, Eman said to him that he's filming something for Star Wars in August 2024, which was last month. The same month that The Mandalorian and Grogu was filming. At the time, this friend wasn't able to keep up with the production news, so he assumed Eman was talking about Ahsoka Season 2. But now that we learned Ahsoka Season 2 doesn't begin filming until next year, we have to assume that Ezra, who is now back in the known galaxy, is going to appear in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie in 2026. This is huge, because it confirms my theory that Jon Favreau wants to incorporate some Rangers of the New Republic stuff. We're probably going to see Hera again. The trailer shown at D23 gave us Zeb, and they're truly tying together the Mandoverse. On top of this, it means the Mandalorian and Grogu might inadvertently set up Ahsoka's second season. Not the stuff going on Peridea, mind you, but maybe a rescue effort at the end of the movie, where Ezra and Hera might decide it's time to go rescue Ahsoka and Sabine. So, a massive scoop. The information is fair to assume that Ezra is going to be in the film, and Eman Esfandi does have a few scenes. It's very big information. We are looking for confirmation of this from other sources. I do trust the source, long-term supporter of the channel, long-term friend, someone I've spoken to in depth about Star Wars, especially in the build-up to the Book of Boba Fett. So it's very possible Eman revealed inadvertently that he is going to be in the next feature movie. I can't imagine he got the production dates wrong for this. Maybe he just didn't know how much he was revealing. So, very interesting stuff. It's been a while since I've had an exclusive scoop, and hopefully it pans out. We spent a lot of time recently criticizing Disney Star Wars decisions, but I've got to say casting Eman for the live-action version of Ezra was one of the best choices they've ever made. I love the transition. He captures the light-hearted and cheeky aspects of Ezra. Sometimes when you're listening to him talk at conventions, it's almost like Eman and Ezra are inseparable. They've got very similar personality traits. Very excited to see where his story goes next, and if one day he meets Grogu, wouldn't that be fascinating? But moving on, we do have another major update. As you guys probably know, there has been so much fan drama going on in the Star Wars community, and because of this, a lot of genuine Star Wars updates have just kind of gone under the radar, and one of them concerns Rogue One. A legal battle is about to take place over Peter Cushing's image used in Rogue One. If you guys remember, we had Grand Moff Tarkin in the Gareth Edwards movie, and they CG'd Peter Cushing's likeness. Well, it turns out there is a dispute over whether Disney and Lucasfilm had permission to do so. This reminds me of a situation with The Last Jedi. Did you know Rian Johnson wanted to use Sir Alec Guinness's likeness for Force Ghost Old Ben, Old Obi-Wan, instead of Yoda on Ahch-To, but Lucasfilm said no. I wonder if there was a similar situation where maybe Sir Alec Guinness's estate didn't want Lucasfilm using the late actor's likeness. The public excuse given at the time was that Yoda was just easier to use, and getting Ewan McGregor in the role of the Force Ghost didn't make sense, because Rian Johnson believed the emotional impact wouldn't have been the same, because Luke's relationship with Obi-Wan was Alec Guinness's version in the original trilogy. But behind the scenes, we don't know what kinds of conversations went down. Well, now the situation is different, because for Peter Cushing's likeness as Tarkin, the movie's already out, and they've already gone and done it. The Shropshire Star, that sounds so British, said this: Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin in Episode 4 A New Hope in 1977, died in 1994, but the character was recreated in the 2016 spin-off through special effects. Tyburn Film Productions claims it entered an agreement with Cushing shortly before his death that prevented the reproduction of his appearance through special effects without its consent. And so, in 2019, they began legal action against Lunac Heavy Industries and Lucasfilm themselves, claiming they received, quote, unjust enrichment from using Cushing's likeness in Rogue One without permission. Now since, Lucasfilm and Lunac Heavy Industries have opposed the claim, stating that due to the terms of his contract in 1977 for A New Hope, recreating Cushing's image did not require permission, and they claim they later entered into an agreement with the executors of Cushing's estate, which saw permission to use his image in return for a fee. The companies wanted to have the claim thrown out of court, but on Monday, a High Court judge said the case has to go to trial, and in his ruling, the judge said he was far from persuaded that Tyburn Film Productions would succeed in its claim. So I guess the odds are in Lucasfilm's favour. The trial will now take place at a later date. It's a very interesting situation because it brings up a wider debate. Should Lucasfilm just recast? Should they continue to use the likeness of either deceased actors or those who are now older than the ages of their characters? But it's so fascinating to hear that this is something that's been in and out of court for half a decade, and most fans just don't know about it. It's a complicated situation that apparently has been bubbling up behind the scenes, but as the judge reiterated, Disney have a stronger case. And it also brings up a further question. Are we going to see another repurposed CGI Tarkin in Andor Season 2? Maybe a better digital reconstruction to the one we had in 2016. The second season continues the Death Star plot, Project Stardust, and we know we're also getting Krennic. So the repercussions of this case will be fascinating if he's slated to appear in that show too. But for the moment, it's not clear what's going to happen next. The case could go all the way to trial, or Disney might try to settle the matter out of court. It's unclear how much Tyburn is seeking, but it's probably a lot. If he's decided to bring this up now, 8 years later, it wouldn't be surprising if financial gain is his main motivation. It's worth noting though, my dear friends, Rogue One was a massive hit, taking in more than $1 billion at the global box office, not to mention what it's generated through merchandise, streaming, Blu-rays, and of course, the spin-off series Andor. And I just wanted to double down on and reiterate something /film mentions. This is going to set a precedent for larger issues coming down the line. Similar court cases to this. This is just the start, and we're living in a very different time. The advent of artificial intelligence is going to make digital recreation and CG more impressive, but the ethical questions are still there. With the recent passing of the legend James Earl Jones, how is Disney going to continue voicing Darth Vader? Are they going to hire someone different? Are they going to use CG? Well, we've known the answer for 2 years. He signed over the rights to his voice to be recreated so Darth Vader could live on. Even for the 2022 series Obi-Wan Kenobi, it wasn't really James voicing him. Instead, it was a replication software. But inevitably, as more actors pass away, I'm sure there will be attempts to recreate versions of them in coming years. And again, those will bring with them certainly some legal issues. As those cases come forward and the precedents are set, they might turn to cases like this one and say, look, the Tarkin case proved X, Y, and Z. But like I say, in the times we're living in, with AI becoming more intelligent, with it becoming more frequent in the industry, laws still being put into place, we're kind of living in the Wild West. The picture is going to become muckier before it becomes clearer. And you know, speaking on the whole James Earl Jones situation, I put forward my tribute a couple of nights ago. But now the maker himself, George Lucas, has put out a beautiful statement of his own. James was an incredible actor, a most unique voice both in art and spirit. For nearly half a century he was Darth Vader, but the secret to it all is that he was a beautiful human being. He gave depth, sincerity and meaning to all of his roles. James will be missed by so many of us, friends and fans alike. And it needs to be said, James was synonymous with the voice of Darth Vader. Others have expressed this sentiment, but it's really true to say he's one of those people so famous, a household name. I never met him, but he meant so much to me. His contribution to cinema, both with Darth Vader and also Mufasa, cannot be overstated. Mark Hamill also joined the choir of tributes. This one was short and sweet. He simply said, "Rest in peace, Dad," talking about his in-universe father. But with that said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this one. Did you have fun? If you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Check me out on socials. Also check out our Patreon page, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.